Hello everyone, my name is Fabian, and once again I have the huge honor to have a very special guest for an interview. She's a voice actor for various characters, and maybe you can see it in my background. She's also the voice of a certain two-tailed fox that everyone's come to know and love. The one, the only Colleen O'Shaughnessey. Colleen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
Yes. So, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I'm, working in my closet. That's what I do. I'm so grateful that I've been able to work. Luckily, my family's healthy. Everyone is doing well, and we're slowly getting out of this crazy pandemic. So I'm great. How are you?
I'm also perfectly fine. So, had a wonderful day. Just set up my entire stuff and then we had about half an hour where we needed to figure technical stuff out. And now we're here. We're finally able to record, and I'm so excited.
Great.
So let's start with the first question. I guess it's a very common one, but I think it's very interesting to hear from an experienced voice actor like you. How did you get into voice acting, and can you remember your very first role?
So I got into voice acting. I came from a musical theater background. I was at the University of Michigan doing musical theater, and I was almost finished. I was almost graduated. I had my last semester to go, and I didn't really know. I kind of didn't want to go to New York. I wasn't like that. Didn't want to go to New York, and Chicago seemed like at the time was very theater for theater's sake, and I'm just not that serious. I mean, I did all the work, I did acting and all the stuff, but anyway, I always just kind of did voices. I always watched The Muppet Show and The Wonderful World of Disney, and voices would come out, and I was doing one at the end of a dance class, and my instructor came over and was like, "Was that you?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, they just come out. I just don't even realize." I didn't at the time realize that I was doing it. And she goes, "No, you need to do voiceover." And it was like an epiphany. I was like, that never even occurred to me that all of these things that I loved, all the cartoons I would watch and all of the everything that, oh my gosh, that's somebody's job. And so that was it for me. I'm going to LA and I am going to be a voice actor. And here I am. And it wasn't like overnight or anything. It took a long time and lots of auditioning and lots of trying to get an agent and get in the union and all that kind of stuff. But that was my path. And my very first job was actually a reporter Barbie book, which is so very funny. Like, that was my first paying job, and they used my audition. So it was on one of those like books that you push the button and you hear somebody talk.
Yeah.
And I was Skipper. It's fun to be a reporter. So that was my very first job. My very first show was The Kids from Room 402, which was so very exciting. And my very first anime was Digimon, where I got to play Sora. So.
Oh yes, I just recently got into Digimon, and it's so cool because I just knew you as Tails, and of course other roles like Ino from Naruto, or Jazz Phantom from Danny Phantom, but that these were all shows I kind of liked, but I never got into Digimon, not because I didn't appreciate it, but because I just didn't know it. It came on TV when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and recently my girlfriend, who is a huge Digimon fan, got me to watch the entire first season, and Sora is one of my favorite characters besides Akari, so it's very cool. One kind of Sonic related question is from or about the huge Sonic movie that came out last year. I got to watch it a few days after opening night. I unfortunately didn't watch it on the first night where it came out. And you got to voice Tails in a very special scene that pleased a lot of fans. And I just wanted to ask you, what kind of feeling was that? Because you were the only voice actor from the games that got to portray the characters on the big screen in the movie. What kind of feeling was that? What emotions did you have when you got the call?
I can't even it's nearly impossible. I was so excited. I can't even tell you. It was And like you said, I was the only one that got to do it, and I felt a little bad for my fellow voice actors, but I was so very excited. And the funniest thing is, whoever called my agent was kind of like, do you think she'd want to do this? And I was like, are you kidding? Of course I would want to do that. So it was so exciting. And then I couldn't say anything for forever. And as soon as people started seeing it, that was even more exciting, was how excited people were to see that scene. People sent me videos of their theaters just exploding with like freaking out because they were so happy to see Tails at the end there. So that was really cool. I was just like, yay. I mean, it was just so exciting.
First of all, really hoping that you get to portray Tails in the sequel. And second of all, yes, as I said, I was in the theater a few days afterwards, so all the hardcore Sonic fans already watched it, and you need to imagine it was like a theater full of mothers and their 6 to 10-year-old children, and an all grown up 24-year-old bearded guy sitting just there, and the credits went off, that the giant ring opened up. Tails jumped out, and I was like the only one bursting out in joy and applauding, and all the children just looking at me like, all right, sir, are you okay?
That's so funny. Very cute.
So, yes, but it was a very special moment, and awesome fan service, so thank you so much for that.
Thank you. No, it was a thrill. It really was. I was so excited.
Okay, so the next question, kind of a character-related question from all the roles, all the various characters that you portrayed that all have so many special abilities and character traits. Which ability or character trait from one character of your choice would you have in real life? Would you like to have?
Wow. Probably I'd probably have to go with Wasp, because she is just, I mean, she's just amazing, and all of her, like, I know my Wasp that I got to play in Earth's Mightiest Heroes is different than what everybody now knows of Wasp from Marvel Universe, but she was so spunky and sarcastic and awesome, and I think I would take her, her blasting things from her. Like, it was almost like Spider-Man, because she was like, kind of blasting people with her little, going after the bad guys. So can I have two? Can I fly too? Can I have both?
Yeah, no problem. Oh, yes, great. You spoke Wasp in Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is also a great show.
Yeah, it really was. It was so much fun. Really, truly just, and was one of those shows that we got to do a whole group record. So all of us were there together doing it, which is always the best case scenario for doing voiceover. It's so much more fun to have everybody there, and you get to play off of each other. And so that was one of those really fantastic experiences where I got to be with the whole cast, which was fantastic.
That's a perfect transition to my next question, because speaking of fun, all of the voice actors that worked on Sonic Boom always speak in the highest regards, considering fun during the entire recording. And I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite moment? Not even just Sonic Boom related, in the entirety. Maybe the games aren't as fun because they aren't as comedy based as Sonic Boom was, the series. So just tell me, what was your favorite moment, your favorite line, whatever you feel like. Just.
Well, my favorite episode was Tails' crush, because I played Zoe too, so I was having a crush on myself, which was pretty hilarious. And we actually did a couple of those scenes where I read both characters simultaneously. So I was like reading with myself. So that was really fun. And then we went back and did it one at a time. So that's my absolute favorite episode. But one of the things that stands out the most, so Cindy Robinson played Amy, and they usually set up the stands pretty much the same. Like, we would be at the same position. So I was kind of in the middle, and Cindy was next to me on the right, and Roger was on my left. And then we had Travis on the other side of Roger, which was probably not the best idea because the two of those guys were just like, was having like a couple of 12-year-olds because they're making fart noises with their armpits. And so that was hilarious. And then I had Nika on the other side of Cindy. So Cindy and I both have musical theater background. She was actually on Broadway. She's amazing. So, but things trigger you as a person who sings. And so you hear, and I don't even know what the line was that triggered us, but we started singing Anything Goes, and we actually knew the same choreography because we had both done it. And so we sang through the entire thing with harmony, doing the whole tap routine, and it was just hilarious. And everyone else is just like, are we going to keep going? Like, how long are they going to let them sing and just like stand here and do it? But they let us, and it was just a blast. We laughed our faces off this every episode, and the writers were brilliant. The writing itself was just hilarious, and everybody was so talented. And just, I mean, if those sessions had lasted 8 hours, I would have been fine with it because it was just so much fun. Really,
I can imagine that.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Also, like what always I imagine like a lot of fun are the Twitter takeover social media events that you guys do from time to time. These are also
I got
hilarious.
to do one of those. Yeah, I got to do one of those with Mike and Roger. And it was so much fun. I was really nervous though because I don't know, I hadn't been with the show or with the Sonic universe as long as the other guys had. And so I was so worried that they were going to be asking us questions that I wouldn't be able to answer, and I didn't know how it was going to go. So I was actually really nervous, and I was worried and I was newer to Twitter as well. So I was like, oh my God, am I going to be having to like answer questions like on the fly? But it was so much better the way they had it. They would basically make up a script. We were in the other room. They'd write up a script really fast with the questions, and we would do it. And it was like, it was so much fun because it wasn't hard work for me. It was just, throw a script up on the thing and great, let's do it. So yeah, they were so much fun. And everyone over there everyone just is so lovely and just happy to be there. It's so nice to be in a work environment where everybody loves what they do. So, and that was truly the case with those takeovers. And the couple of like events that we got to do a big event in New York. It was like a Sonic event. And it was, oh my God, it was just so much fun. And the fans just love it. And they know way more about it than I probably ever will. But I learned a lot from them. They have those encyclopedias with like all the information on there. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, I'm also one of those people. I could go on for hours, but
yeah, I'm sure you could. Like, I learned so much from them. I mean, honestly, I know this is going to sound terrible, but I didn't know that his full name was Miles Tails Prower. And then I was like, oh my God, Miles Prower, that's hilarious. Like, I had no idea until I went to New York and somebody showed me in one of those encyclopedia things.
Oh yes,
crazy.
But I.
If they don't tell me, it's not my fault.
True that, but I remember in Team Sonic Racing, you said it. You said a line like, "Nobody beats Miles Tails Prower." So
yeah.
When you're voicing fictional characters or maybe even real characters, I always wanted to know, how do you get into the state of mind, I shall ask, for maybe doing a Two-Tailed Fox or a Diglionite or anything like that? Do you do any research on the character, or do you just... I think you also get some instructions from the guys behind it, but how do you get into that role? I always think that is a very interesting process that all of us viewers and fans can't really imagine.
It is an interesting process, and it is very helpful to get information from the people that know. So if I'm just doing an audition, for me, if I have a picture, that is fantastic, because of course I read the description that they've written, but I almost don't need that. If I just have a picture, that's kind of how I started doing voices in the first place. To me, you're not just putting on a voice, you have a fully realized character, which is why they call it voice acting, because you are acting, and you have all of the same things that you would do on camera or on stage or wherever you're acting apply, because you need to know, like, what would my character do in any given situation. Now, granted, if you're doing animation or a video game or whatever, the stakes are probably very different than what would be on stage or in a movie or whatever, but same things apply. So I try to come at it from a grounded place, even if it's silly or like, you know, not based in reality. I try to still come from a real place, because these to me are realized characters. So if I have a picture, I start with that and I look at the picture and I think, okay, what would it sound like if it started talking, whatever it is, whether it's a two-tailed fox or, you know, some warrior in a forest or fairy or whatever. So I start with that. Then I look at the description and, you know, hopefully they give me, you know, male or female or an age range and some, you know, characteristics, you know. So say like somebody like Tails, who's very smart, he's going to talk like he's intelligent, as opposed to maybe somebody that's, you know, maybe a little more lackadaisical, might talk a little bit slower or not quite so precise, or, you know. So I look at those things first, and then I give my best guess as to what I think that character would sound like. And then when I hopefully book the job, you go in and the writers are there and the director is there, and they guide you to, you know, it morphs into a fully realized character after everybody has their input. So it's really very much a group process. You know, it's very collaborative, and I really feel like they kind of evolve over time, because as you get script and more context, and you're working with other actors and you're working with the director and the writers, then it all kind of, you know, reveals itself.
All right, so you kind of have a picture in mind, and the executive and every other person just fine tunes it into their collective vision.
Absolutely, for sure.
Okay, great.
That was a much better summary than what I did.
Thank you. In your entire career, maybe there were some roles or some characters that you always wanted to voice and didn't have the opportunity to do so. Are there any kinds of characters that, like maybe, I would always love to do Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Like, is there anything like that?
You know, when they were auditioning for She-Ra, I really, really wanted that part. I had comic books of her as a kid. I used to have these like sticker books, and I had one. And then He-Man was a cartoon when I was a kid too, and She-Ra was part of that He-Man universe. And I wanted that part so badly. So that was one that, and I actually did get to audition, but they went with a much younger. A bunch of girls that I think they started. I think they're in their teens, like mid-teens, maybe late teens. So, which is, you know, that's fine. But that was, I really, really wanted to be She-Ra. I did. And I've always wanted to voice a Disney character that sings in a movie. Like not necessarily Little Mermaid, but Little Mermaid-esque, like the next whatever that gets to sing.
Does it ever happen to you that people recognize you by your voice, because you have such a wide voice range and so many characters under your belt? Did it ever happen to you, like in the supermarket, that some kid said, "Oh, that kind of sounds like Tails, Glass Phantom, Sora"?
You know, it actually has not. I have not had anybody recognize me just from hearing my voice. Who knows? Maybe it will happen someday. But I was in a mall in Michigan with my family, and there were some teenagers dressed like Naruto in the mall, and so my kids went over and told them who I was, and they were like they got all, you know, excited. So I think I signed one of their headbands or something. But no, unless somebody tells me. That's kind of the beauty of voiceover. Like, I can just walk through my world, not anybody knowing who I am. So, I mean, it's wonderful when I go to conventions and people know I'm going to be there, and they're just so fantastic and lovely. But no, I've never been recognized on the street for my voice.
All right. Well, one of the funniest things happened in Germany. I read about it. Like the German voice actor of Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter movies went to a supermarket, and he was there, and the cashier recognized him from his voice, and then he gave him like his microphone for some. I don't know. I guess they
restocking on aisle 4.
Yeah, something like that. And he gave it to him, and he was like, "Bring me Harry Potter!" And the entire supermarket was like freaking out. So wonderful. Maybe you'll get to do that sometime soon.
Maybe someday I can, have Tails be in the supermarket asking for ice cream on aisle 7.
Oh, I see some ice cream over there with my telescope.
Nice one.
All right. So, Colleen, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. It was a pleasure. It was an honor, and I'm still beyond excited to have you on here. Like, you're one of the voices of one of the most important sidekicks in all of gaming, besides so many other great characters that influenced so many childhoods and lives overall. So, yeah, once again, thank you so much. It was great, and I hope to see you sometime soon.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and yeah, I hope I get to meet you guys in person someday. And thank you. It's great to be here.
One last question. Can I get a shout out from Tails himself? That would be...
Sure. Absolutely. Hey, Fabian. Thanks so much. It was great talking to you. Have a great day. Catch you on the flip-flop.
Amazing. So thank you so much. Have a great day. And goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this little interview.